Okay, based on the last video, we talked about the extreme ends in terms of coaches playing their lines, playing their players, whether a coach plays only his or her best players and not even using their weaker ones, or do you therefore allow everyone to play in the game? Now, in my approach, because I handle mainly youth team. And I do handle teams or schools whereby we often get a lot of inexperienced raw players that just started the game, learned the game. And so therefore, whenever I approach a competition, of course, definitely I have some players that are slightly better and all the way, say, to the weaker ones or more inexperienced ones. But my heart usually goes to the kids, especially at a youth level, where they need game time. They need game time, they need the experience, they need the confidence, right? So I will actually use or kind of utilize by the fact that because there's game time, how can I utilize that to help them gain their confidence? And then from there, they can actually build it up. Now, my personal take is if I only play the strong players and not the weak players at all, which is the one extreme end, what happens is I'm building the pride and ego, especially the word ego, on the better players, and am I trashing down the self-confidence of the weaker players. And what happens is I could only have possibly just one track or one pathway, which means if things go well, good, no problem, no issues. We win the games, and through winning the games, it justified my choice in terms of playing the better players. But often or not, when you talk about winning and winning a championship or a tournament, there's only one winner. And how often can you be that one winner? So my thought is if, or this can be a constraint whereby if you only play the best players, now when things goes wrong or when you start conceding a few goals and you're trailing, then you also do not have the trust onto your weaker players to utilize them, and also the weaker players do not actually have the confidence to now step up and say, let's try to help, say, our first line, second line, so to speak, the better players. So it creates a constraint in my point of view, in a sense that when things go wrong, you are, or I am, my team would not be able to come back. Now, flip it to the other extreme end. If I consistently only play I consistently play everyone, which means be it the game is going to our way, I play everyone. The game is trailing, I also play everyone. There is a constraint in terms of now it seems like we are not fighting and competing towards trying to win the game. So often or not, I need to find a bit of balance, being able to assess my opponents that I'm facing, how strong they are, how strong my teams are, and from there, how can I then better utilize as many of the players as possible. I do also have the notion where if a certain, say, one or two players who are slightly or very much weaker in their components, but I do see them a certain potential in terms of learning and gaining experience. And so therefore, I'll tell them that their role in this team is actually very much as a bench warmer to go and experience the game, see the games, and from there, hopefully they learn. So in that sense, what I'm trying to say is um, when I don't play a certain players, I actually do tell them of their roles and responsibility. And so that when they go and attend the games, they will see and they will actually try to pick things up and learn with the responsibility that in the future, I expect them to be somewhat of that certain standard. And for those that gets to play more or gets to play less because they are slightly weaker as compared to the rest, number one, they do get game time. I will utilize again the opportunity to say that, hey, you played a certain shift that was good. Self-confidence builder, that's one. And two, of course, those that are my core players, I'm telling them straight, you are my core players, you are my players that are the most skillful, most experienced in the team, and therefore everyone relies on you. And game time, you ought to must be able to step up. But however, with the notion that if you do drop your standard, I am going to utilize my weaker lines or others to replace you if you do not do that. So there's a lot more accountability, roles and responsibility that I try to implement, while yet at the same time keeping that balance of being able to play as much players as possible, but yet also being able to compete and win games as well. And everything will be on the fly, because decisions can be on an instant where I feel changes ought to be needed. Example, from playing 3 lines down to 2 lines in order to say chase a tight score line, in hope to win the goal, or perhaps because the score line was tight, to dropping from 3 lines to 2 lines so that I'm hoping to score the goal to create a distance. Um, yeah, so essentially that's about it. In this five and a half, 6 minutes, right? I've basically explained how I have come to realize what kind of conflict I am facing, and therefore my resolution in terms of handling my teams that I've been handling for the past few years. Let me know in the comments, how do you think? Is this valid? Is this wrong? Is this right? I look forward to hear from some of you.